back. We are a week away from the start of the new Supreme Court session. Let's bring in our friend, Fox 5 chief legal correspondent Katie Barlow here to break down what we can expect. But even though we're a week away, there are still some things going on that we have to pay attention to.
Yeah, and by the way, I can't believe that June is so far away now and we're starting a new term, but here we are. So
I said session, it's term, right?
Term, yes, the new term begins. It's always the first Monday in October, but there are a few things that happen the week leading up to the beginning of a new term. The justices are getting ready for the new term. They have something called the Long Conference, and it's called that because I think they spend a lot of time in the room together figuring out which new cases they're going to grant. They basically take, as school children do, a summer break after they issue their last opinion in June. And over the summer, people are still asking the court to hear cases, and those cases pile up for weeks and weeks. And so there are over 1,000 petitions to the justices to hear these cases, and they consider them all at the Long Conference, which is going to take place on Wednesday. And then last year, I think they took 5 out of the hundreds, over 1,000 cases that they looked at. So not many make it through, which is always the case when you're asking the court to hear your case. But that's what's going to happen on Wednesday and a few other things that are coming up.
Because we had talked about, I mean, I feel like the last time you came on, we were getting ready for Dobbs. We were getting ready for so many other monumental decisions that came down, whether it be the New York concealed carry case, Dobbs, for example. Is there anything else that would be considered in the next week, or does that all the hot button issues? Do they wait until the new term?
No, I think there are a number of hot button issues that can still come up. And by the way, they can still weigh in on cases related to Dobbs and guns. Those were the big blockbusters, of course, after last term. But there are still lingering questions after those cases. I mean, we've seen states across this country grapple with abortion laws, and there's still more questions about what's allowed and what's not. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw another question make its way up. But they will make their decisions for now, but they'll keep considering petitions through the end of the year as well. This is just the big one, the Long Conference. And then on Friday, we're going to hear from Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson. She has officially been a justice. She's even issued a few opinions and voted with the justices and with the 9. But she's going to have her formal investiture on Friday, which is when she gets to take the pictures in front of the court, and the press will actually get to be there in person, which hasn't happened since the pandemic began. So that'll be a really special moment for her. Presidents come. Barack Obama came for Justice Sonia Sotomayor and for Elena Kagan. President Trump came for Gorsuch and Kavanaugh. So that'll be a big moment for her, and that's going to happen on Friday morning. That
was actually the question I had. It's like, so she's been at work. She just has not had these formal meetings so far.
She took the oath, so she is officially legally a justice. You can't challenge her votes in any of the cases.
Stephen Breyer's on a beach somewhere right now.
He is enjoying his best retirement life. We hope that he's doing that, and his law clerk will have her formal investiture. Maybe he'll be there.
You talked about being back there in person, and one of the things that came out of the last couple of years were these audio recordings that we were able to hear for the first time. I mean, we would hear some recordings, but there was some sort of procedure, I guess, that they would have to go through for this. Is that going to continue?
That is the question of the hour. We actually do not know yet, and we're hoping that that's something that the justices can consider while they're at the Long Conference. This will be the first time they're all in a room together, as far as we know, after the summer break. And I would imagine they're going to decide whether we're going to keep getting these live audio recordings. And they also may be talking about that leak investigation. We learned from one of the justices over the summer, Justice Gorsuch, that they're continuing the investigation. There's, in fact, a committee overseeing it, and they're going to issue a report. We don't know if that report's going to become public, but those were 2 topics that I would be looking for also coming out of the Long Conference.
We have not talked about the leak investigation or the leak per se ever since Dobbs came out. And really, when you looked at the opinion, the draft opinion versus what we saw on that day when we were watching Katie outside of the Supreme Court holding her laptop, hitting refresh, 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 which...
Reporting with a laptop, that's what we all learned in journalism school.
By the way, and that day, you were on the air early in the morning, and I happened to be out that night, later on that night, and you
That's why I can't believe that June was that long ago. We're still recovering from June.
But moving on from that, I mean, I know there was discussion about charges or something along those lines. That was all conjecture, right? Like, this is far from over if they're going to pursue anything.
So it seems, and I think a number of people who may turn out to be right were saying, well, we'll never learn who the leaker was. The real question is whether the public is going to get to see this report that we just found out because Justice Gorsuch said it in a speech at a conference that is going to exist, whether they're going to let the public have a look and see what the committee found in their investigation.
The last question I have, because we talked about the audio recordings, and this is something that always is brought up somewhere along the way. You talked about this in the courts, the idea of cameras in the courtroom at some point. Is that anything that's going to come up in this term? Is it being discussed? Do we think there's any changing attitude towards that?
I don't think so. I think it's something that all 9 justices will have to agree to. And I'm not sure that there are 9 justices on this court right now who would agree to have cameras in the courtroom, including those like Justice Kagan, who said she would be open to it before she joined the bench and then seemed to change her mind. And a number of justices did that. So I don't think so, but I'd love to see it.
It's easier looking in from the outside as opposed to being in the inside and making those calls.
And she said that, essentially. Yep.
In the courts, airing Sundays at 11:30 here on Fox 5. This is where we do the shameless plug. You will have a fresh show for everybody on the eve of the first Monday of October.
That is exactly right. And we'll be talking about what's coming up this term. Big cases, affirmative action, gay rights, lots of things.
Katie Barlow, always good to see you.
Thank you.
And we are back after this.